On the phone with me now, Dayton, Ohio, Republican Congressman Mike Turner. Congressman, thank you for joining us. You're not convinced that a strike against Syria is the way to go. Why is that?
Well, Don, I returned last week to Washington to receive a briefing from the administration, and I tell you the difference between what they're saying publicly and in classified briefings is really not all that different. It is clear that this administration does not have a strategy. We do not know who we are for. We don't have a great understanding of the risks. They have an unexplainable policy when it comes to the president's imaginary red line with respect to chemical weapons that they now acknowledge had previously been used in this conflict. And more importantly, the president has shown no leadership in trying to offset sequestration, the automatic, egregious cuts that are happening to our military, where with the imposition of those, the president has had, tens of thousands of furloughs. Over 12,000 people in my community alone were furloughed.
Yeah. Let's stick with Syria here. When you said the president, you don't understand the strategy going in. What are the alternatives offered by members of Congress? Have you offered an alternative to the president?
Well, Don, first off, on the issue of sequestration, it is absolutely related to Syria. It is not a diversion. It is an issue of the president not fully funding our military at the same time he's trying to draw us into this conflict. I mean, the president just hasn't done his homework. With respect to the issue of Syria and the use of chemical weapons, the president should have been, especially since they've acknowledged this has happened in the past, galvanizing the international community and certainly the American public. He needs to explain clearly how this is in our national interest. He says it's not his imaginary red line, it's the international community's red line, but yet he's not engaged the international community in a way that there is an international Syrian response. This is a president who's waited until there's a crisis and then wants to draw us into a conflict that I don't think the American public supports.
Yeah, I understand that. But my question was, have you offered any alternatives, any other solutions than a military strike?
Well, I think the solution is the president, the Congress can't do foreign policy. The president needs to show leadership and engage the international community in this. This is not one where you just drag the military into a conflict, especially after he has underfunded it with sequestration. And I think he's having problems with the international community just as he is with his, support in Congress because he has an unexplainable policy. He acknowledges chemical weapons were used before. We all know that over 100,000 people have died, and he's just now turning to this issue when he should have been making the case, and he should have certainly been working on what obviously is a devastating conflict that's happening in Syria.
You saw those video clips that came out yesterday, very disturbing, really hard to watch. Did that have any influence on you at all, and do you think it'll have any influence on lawmakers in Washington?
I think certainly this is a devastating tragedy, and you see the effects here of Assad's brutal regime and killing its own people. Certainly we've known for a while 100,000 people have been killed, but the president needs to bring this to an issue of the international community. This is not one where you watch a video and you pull up battleships and begin to engage the United States in a conflict. You need to make a case as to what is our national interest. And at this point, he has no strategy that can clearly tell us who are we for in this conflict. We don't know what their geopolitical views are. Is there someone else who would be pro-U.S., pro our allies? We don't have any context other than the president having declared this to be a crisis.
Ohio Congressman Mike Turner, we appreciate your time on a Sunday evening. Thank you, sir.
Don, thank you.
All right.